crazy rain clouds today. They're just traveling everywhere. All of a sudden there could be one spot that's pouring rain and the rest is sunny. I guess with that in mind, what was going on today? A lot of crazy stuff. I guess the first biggest one was that news about Elon Musk buying all the stocks and stuff in Twitter. Will he buy it out? And I guess it's official. It says Elon Musk to acquire Twitter. Twitter Inc. today announced that it has entered into a definite agreement to be acquired by an entity wholly owned by Elon Musk for $54.20 per share in cash in a transaction valued at approximately $44 billion. Upon completion, the transaction, Twitter will become a privately held company. Whoa, what does this mean for everything, huh? Is he gonna completely change, I guess, the platform in terms of their policies and procedures and all that? And in terms of his concern and ultimate goal, I guess, for the platform, it says free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, said Mr. Musk. I also want to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots, and authenticating all humans. Twitter has tremendous potential. I look forward to working with the company and the community of the users to unlock it. That'll be actually really interesting if they will make, I guess, things like the algorithm public. It makes me wonder too, when he takes over, if he sees how it was before, will he actually reveal what the quote algorithms were? Because there's a lot of accusations usually with social media companies. They say blacklist or they try to, I guess, hide certain people or content. So if he shows that, will that actually create, I guess, even more outrage? And what I think will be interesting to see is, depending on what viewpoint you're at, if you're someone who, let's just say, thought this platform censored people and all that, will you actually start using it or say go back to it if you left it? For people who encourage things like censorship, will you now leave it? It'd be kind of interesting to see the dynamics there. And this was kind of interesting where I guess apparently in the US they want more regulations and so forth, I guess, to take care of things like drones. Because this one here says, White House seeks more power to counter use of drones over security nuisance concerns. Is this bad news for people in the US? Because as you know, they classify virtually everything as a quote drone, even if it's a little toy. It says the White House on Monday released an action plan that calls for expanding the number of agencies that can track and monitor drones flying in their airspace. It calls for establishing a list of US government authorized detection equipment that federal and local authorities can purchase, and creating a national training center on countering the malicious use of drones. The White House, in a statement, said it was critical that Congress adopt legislation to close critical gaps in existing law and policy that currently impede government and law enforcement from protecting the American people and our vital security interests. The federal government-wide focus comes as the Federal Aviation Administration projects that more than 2 million drones will be in circulation in the US by 2024, and its availability of detection and mitigation technologies, including jamming systems, are limited under current law. So would that be, for example, because of the definition of a quote drone, they treat it all like a manned aircraft of sort? And since you can't, I guess, say shoot down a manned aircraft, then that kind of limits their abilities to, I guess, counter a drone. Would that be one of the reasons per se? And it says the proposal also calls for establishing a 6-year pilot program for a small number of state, local, territorial, and tribal law enforcement agencies to take part in a drone detection and mitigation operation under supervision of the Justice Department and Homeland Security. Currently, no state or local agencies have such authorization. So good or bad, it just never ends though, just in general. I still think the issue is classification. You need to clearly distinguish things like a quote toy drone, someone just using it to take photos and videos, versus someone using it to transport people, carry items, or like a military drone. There isn't that distinction, because just like I mentioned before, like the roads right now is treated as, doesn't matter what it is, a shopping cart, a wheelchair, they're all a car basically, and that's a little ludicrous. And then I quickly read this, which made me wonder actually, with that buyout of Twitter wanting to be, I guess, an open public space for people to talk about anything, will this actually be allowed too? Because a lot of places are actually censoring these types of topics too, depending on your viewpoint. Because this one here says CDC warns doctors to look out for mystery liver illness in children. At least 9 children in the US and over 100 in Europe have contracted the severe and unexplained hepatitis, with many needing a liver transplant. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention is warning doctors to keep an eye out for mysterious causes of hepatitis that are affecting young kids in the US and elsewhere. 2 children in the US have become so sick that they've required a liver transplant. Officials in Europe and Israel have reported similar recent cases. So what is going on, huh? Because it even says since late last year, children have been coming down with severe hepatitis that couldn't be explained by other well-known causes, such as the group of viruses most commonly responsible for hepatitis. Now, this is a health issue, and I can just imagine there'll be so many hypothetical opinions and all that. And again, a lot of platforms these days, they would ban anyone who, I guess, doesn't follow a certain opinion. If you have someone countering it, saying, well, here's my facts and so forth, it doesn't matter. If you don't follow, I guess, along with a certain viewpoint, they would be banned or blocked. So would stuff like this actually be allowed on Twitter? Because I think it's actually important in that case. Like here, they say it's mysterious, what's going on? You need to debate, correct? If something's wrong, then you should be able to easily debunk it. Not just say, oh, I'm not gonna listen to this guy, ban him. Like, it would make me wonder, hey, what's going on? Is that person saying something that's actually like accurate in some way? It's kind of like that saying, isn't it? Where something along the lines of, when you cut out a man's tongue, for example, if you don't prove that he's a liar, you're more afraid of what they're gonna say and all that. Alright, see you guys later.